So, our new topic today is foreign exchange rates and currency management. Don't forget, I've equally mentioned that I don't want to go deep into the hedging part of it, right? But I have notes for that. I'll send the notes right to the platform. So we'll touch some parts that will enable us to solve more questions. That will enable us to attempt question on international investments. Now we'll start with exchange rate. What is exchange rate? Exchange rate is the rate which a currency can be traded in exchange for another currency. That is exchange rate. What is the exchange rate now? What is the current exchange rate? 1,650 at the parallel market. Then you want to buy something from US or from Germany. You can, that is the exchange rate you will use is what you have now, right? The exchange rate is of 1,650. You can use to exchange for another currency, and that is exchange rate. Why spot rate is the rate at which is the rate at which currency can be bought or sold for immediate delivery. As of today, the spot rate, if you want to buy goods now, spot rate is 1,650. Then tomorrow it could be 1,500. And you work in an organization that is the international based organization. That is, their raw materials is sourced overseas, right? Then when you want to buy the raw material, you have to buy it based on the current exchange rate, spot rate. The spot rate is 1,500. Something that is the amount, that is the spot rate you can use to buy that particular what. So you want to sell in dollar now. You want to sell. What you want to say, if you want to convert that 1,500 to dollar, that 1,500 is the spot rate that you can use to sell that particular what product. And that is why you will usually see exchange loss or gain. Imagine you sell goods on credit to a company overseas at the current spot rate 1,650. You sell. Then is on credit. Then when the person want to pay back, the person now paid when the currency, when naira to dollar is 1,300 class. Are you making a gain or loss? You will make a loss on that sale, on that goods that you sold out. Why? Because at the initial recognition, in line with IFRS 21, is it IFRS or IAS 21? Is it IFRS or IAS 21? Please, someone should correct me. Is it IFRS 21 or IAS 21? I will confirm that. Please check. In line with that, the initial recognition is that you sold goods on credit at 1,650 per dollar. Then, when the person want to pay, you now look at it, hedging. That's that's the other party too is a very smart is a very smart customer, right? You now look at it that okay, IAS 21. Thank you, IAS 21. Thank you, right? So you now look at it that you now paid when the the exchange rate is 1,200. You can see that you sold at 1,650. Then now when the spot rate now decrease, the customer now paid, which means that what you will get will be lower than the previous initial recognition. We'll get there. For forward exchange, what is forward exchange rate? Is the exchange rate set for currency to be exchanged at the future? Class, sometimes there are some people, they are edgers. They call them edgers, right? Those guys can can actually predict the future rate. For instance, as a Nigeria now, so today is 1,650. They could tell you that the forward rate in the next 6 months could be 1,300. They are edgers, right? Now, forward rate, exchange rate, what the rate of exchange will be in the future. That is forward exchange rate. Then, when these edgers, when these guys, when they are doing their edging, they could they will consider the inflation and the interest rate of a company. We'll get there. That is what will form part of what they will use to predict the forward exchange rates. And someone will ask that, why do we have to explain this term? How to explain this term? Like, because when we move ahead to international investment, you may be given a spot rate and you are to invest for 5 years, to do capital investment for 5 years. You don't want to do local investment, international investment for 5 years. Then you'll be given a spot rate of 1.65 naira per dollar. Then how will you now determine the forward rate for the 5 years? Class. So in determining the forward rate for 5 years, you need to consider you need to look at it. Is there any inflation that could affect, because it could affect your forward rate? The interest rate as well could affect your forward rate. At the same time, you still also need to look at it that is our currency, is it appreciating or depreciating? We'll get there. So the reason why we need to explain these things is because of international investment. Now, I want to explain some terms, right? We'll move to the need for foreign exchange, right? Why do we need foreign exchange? This need for foreign exchange arises from international trade and investment. Of course, if I don't have anything to do with investing in overs, or I don't have anything to do with investing, buying raw materials. You can see that recently you could see some company that most of the raw materials that they use to produce the finished goods are being purchased outside. You could see their huge foreign exchange loss in their financials, right? What's next after ICANN? We will teach you how to do analysis on company financials. We'll get there. Now, if you look at the company financials under the other comprehensive income, you will see that they will recorded the exchange loss, right? The exchange loss. You will see huge exchange loss because they buy their raw materials overseas, right? They buy it from overseas, right? And okay, let's use a practical illustration. Let's say for the purpose of this class, AA Limited could be using a material that they will use to produce this for a finished product. Then they have a supplier in overs, and the supplier is okay, you can buy on credit. Then you are buying on credit when our spot rate is 1,650 per dollar. Then when you want to pay back as a buyer, let's say as a buyer now, when you want to pay back, the exchange rate reduce to 1,500. You can see it is actually favorable to you because in converting it to Naira, you will pay lesser compared to the initial recognition when you buy, when at the initial recognition, when you buy it on credit at 1,650 per dollar, right? As a buyer, right? It is favorable to you. The other party may not like it because that is why some guys, what they do is to hedge, right? To protect. What is hedging? Is to protect investment against what? Against risk. Class, I don't want to go deep into that part, but I will still explain it, right? To protect it, there are some guys, that is what they do. Okay, they will look at it, okay, we can go, it's a good buy, it's a good sell. So to the seller now, that to the seller now, the seller will lose. But to you that you buy as a Nigerian company, as a domestic, as a Nigerian company, it is a very good buy for you because you buy at 1,650. Then when you want to pay back, you observe the market and you now see, okay, 1,500, you quickly pay it off, right? Which means you pay lower than the previous initial recognition. Then if you are selling as a Nigerian company, you sell on credit now, right? At 1,650. Then when the buyer want to pay you from overs, you now look at your foreign, you now say, okay, the person now decided to do, or the company now decided to buy when the price crashed, when the price is 1,500. So you as a seller, you have made a loss on investment because the initial recognition, I didn't the person pay you cash, you would have gained more money when it is 1,680. Class, am I communicating, please? I have my reasons for explaining this part, right? Class, am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Now, that is the need for foreign exchange because you need to exchange, you need to you need to buy goods, right? You need to buy goods, right? The company selling goods abroad might price the goods in the buyer's domestic currency or in another currency, such as US dollar. Now, that is one of the things that is killing us here. You will see a foreigner, we buy goods we buy goods. Instead of this foreigner to buy the goods right? Based on our domestic currency in naira, you will see them exchanging it with dollar, right? Are we appreciating our currency or depreciating our currency? You cannot go to the US today or some of the company today, some of the other states today, and you go there, you want to buy something. You cannot buy in naira. You must buy in their own what? In their own functional currency. For those who are writing CR, right? This knowledge, you will use it in your translation, right? Foreign subsidiary translation. Now, these are the means for what? Foreign exchange. When the company pays the foreign currency, the company sell the currency received in exchange for its own what? Domestic. Of course, you have to sell it in your own domestic currency, in your own home-based currency. If the company is in Nigeria, right? You want to sell it in your own home currency, domestic currency, then the person will now convert to its own what? Currency. That, okay, if what is the naira, what is the value of this goods in naira? This is it. What is the value of this goods in dollar? The person is supposed to pay you in naira, but guess what? Guess what? It's opposite, right? And these are the things. These are some of the issues we are facing here, right? Now we move ahead to direct and indirect quotes. Class, this is this is one of the problem when conversion, yes, conversion in when converting in international investment, or also when you are translating in line with IS 21 under the foreign under what is it called, under foreign exchange, or under group, right, where you have to translate the subsidiary figure to the home base currency of the parent, right? Then when you want to do that, when you want to do the translation, when you want to convert, you can use direct quotes or indirect quotes. The question is, how will you know if this particular spot rate, let's say spot rate, is is a direct quote, right? I'll still explain that under foreign exchange, under translation, under subsidiary, right? Foreign subsidiary. Now, a direct quote, we normally have a spot rate. Now, if a spot rate is being quoted as you as a home base, see, we need to look at who, as a Nigerian, your 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 company is a domestic, is your currency is a domestic currency, is a domestic currency. We need to look at it in every question. Is is there any is a Nigerian company, is there any Nigeria is oh, how do I want to put these things? Okay, is Nigerian company part of what was given to you, right? Is it part of it? Then you should know that Nigerian company is a domestic currency, right? Then they may give you a currency that is not even Nigeria at all, right? Then the question is, how will you identify if this is direct quote or indirect quote? Now, what you will do is that first, establish the company. Where is the company situated? Where is the country of that company first? The company that want to either sell or buy, where is this situated? You know, the usual thing is, okay, Nigeria Limited invested in probably buy sell goods to this so company. You already know that AA. Where is AA situated? Where is the office? Where is their address? Where is their their country? The country of that company. Now, if the spot rate is given as 160 naira to dollar, don't forget, dollar, right? 160 naira is a Nigerian is a Nigerian currency. The other one is overs, right? Now they could give you 160 naira to 1 euro, right? To 1 euro. Now, when you have 160 naira to 1 euro, the first question you should ask yourself is, where is the home base where is that company situated? Where is the country? Is it a Nigerian company or other country or other country, right? Now, if it is a Nigerian company and the spot rate given is 160 naira to $1, right? This is purely a direct quote. Why? Because the company that is selling or buying, the company itself is what? Is a Nigerian company. So you could say, when you now see a spot rate of 160 naira to what? To $1, because that is what you will use to exchange in what? In dollar. So you can have 160 to dollar. It is a what? It is a direct quote. So what is that direct quote? It means that if you want to buy you want to buy you want to buy goods overseas, let's say the goods worth $10,000, $10,000 class. Then if it is $10,000, if you want to convert that goods, so if you want to convert it to naira, what is the conversion? You that you want to convert, your company is a Nigerian. You are the one that want to buy or sell, right? So it's a domestic currency. Now, in this case, now you will not see the spot rate. When you see the spot rate, that the Nigerian spot rate, the Nigerian what is it called? Spot rate comes first at the left hand side. Class, you establish that the Nigerian company spot rate comes what? At the left hand side, then why others at the right hand side. Now, and you want to actually buy or sell. This is to tell you that this is a what? A direct quote. Then when you want to multiply, when you want to convert it, when you want to convert that $10,000 to Nigeria, right? You have to do what? 160 times $10,000. We give you the value of that what? Of that product that you want to sell. Let me say this again. Let's say in a question, I think we need to look at a particular illustration, an illustration to that, right? So a Nigerian company that want to buy goods overs at $10,000, right? Then the spot rate as at then is 160 naira. 160 naira. You can see that naira comes first. 160 naira to $1, right? Now, do we now convert the $10,000 to naira? Because it is a Nigerian company, because the company is situated in Nigeria, and the spot rate, right, of naira sign, it comes first, right? It is automatically be what? It is a direct quote. So for you to convert it to naira, you have to multiply that 160 times the dollar so that you have the value in naira. If the reverse is the case, that is an indirect quote, whereby the company that want to buy is a Nigerian company, and the spot rate given to you is $1 to what? It is $1 to 160 naira. You can see $1 to 160 naira, and that company is a what? Is a Nigerian company, right? You can see that the naira sign comes on the what? On the right hand side. That is an indirect quote. We'll get there, class. Now, what I'm trying to explain here is that in every situation whereby you need to look at the spot rate. What is the spot rate given to you? If it is 160 naira to $1. Oh, it means there is a Nigerian company here. Now, who is this Nigerian company? Is it the company that is buying or selling, right? Where is the company situated? Is in Nigeria, right? So which means that since Nigerian currency comes first, it automatically becomes what? A direct quote. So it means that the Nigerian company may want to buy goods from the US, right? At $10,000. Then if you are buying from at $10,000, what is the conversion in naira? And don't forget, the spot rate is 170 naira to dollar. Naira comes first, right? It is a direct quote. If you want to get the value, you have to say, okay, 160 naira per dollar times 10, because $1 will be equals to 160, then $10,000. 160 times what? Times 10. And that is my explanation to direct quote. Class, am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can someone give us a summary
No,
of
sir.
that?
I didn't really get it.
Can
Okay.
someone give us a summary of that? What I've been trying to explain here.
Hello, sir.
Can someone give us?
Hello, sir.
Okay, I'm with you.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm with you.
So you said for this, for in order to know a direct quote, you have to determine the local company first, the main company that is either buying or selling. Then you look at how the spot is quoted. If the currency of the local company comes first, then it means it's the direct quote. That's if it comes first by the left hand side, it means it's a direct. I
Yes.
don't
Yes. Yes, you are correct.
know if right.
That's fine. That's fine. Do you have any other person that wants to try? That's fine. Thank you. Please, can someone give us summary again? Another summary, please, before we move ahead. Gifted. Hold on.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Okay, you said when we should first of all consider the country which the country where the domain. Sorry, you said we should first waited if it's in Nigeria. Then secondly, we should check if the domestic to ask is this: if the should we consider the units of the foreign currency? For example, if the foreign currency is one, is it a direct quote? Because there's this video I watched, the person mentioned that. So that's just a question I'm asking
Like,
for that.
I actually struggle to hear you. That's your question. Can you repeat your question again? Please, can you repeat your question?
Okay, I'm asking that should we consider
I can't hear you again.
the units of the foreign. Shit. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, my question is this: should foreign
With you.
currency, for example, in this illustration you gave now, the foreign currency is $1, right? So should we also consider that, like, if the foreign currency is in one unit, would that be a direct quote? Or is it possible that both foreign currency and domestic currency will not be like in one unit? Let's assume
No,
like we have naira now, 160 naira to $2.
Okay, okay, to $2. Well, yeah, we can actually have it like that. We can actually have 160 naira to $2, but most times is 160 to $1. You know, even in real life, right? It is only in textbooks or in what is it called? In textbooks or in some other text that you will see. Okay, they can give, or for the purpose of ICAN exam, that you can have 160 to 1 point. They can give you 1.2 $1.2 and all that, right? Kwemisiri, I want to explain something again. Okay, Kwemisiri.
Yes, good morning, sir, and thank you for the lecture. So I want to get a clarification on how to differentiate between a direct quote and indirect quote.
I'm
Now,
coming to
from the
the
example you made,
I'm still coming to indirect quotes. This is just a direct quote.
okay, direct quote, fine. I want to get a clarification. Now, under the direct quote, you made an example of a 125 naira, $25. So this example, is it an example of a direct quote? That's my question. I want you to answer before I go on.
Yes, yes, it's an example of direct quotes. That's why I still now gave 160. What it means is that 125 naira is equals to $1.
Or 1 naira is equal to $125.
No, no, I didn't put it like that. That is not what I wrote. So I wrote 125 is equals to $1. Then the other one is 160 naira is equals to $1. So I actually interpret this 125, because in every question you'll be given a spot rate. That spot rate, it could be 125 slash dollar. So you should know that it is 125 naira is equals to $1.
Okay, this example goes when Nigeria is the naira is the local currency.
Yes, it's a local currency, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, unmute your mic. The person should unmute his or her mic. Any other question, please?
Okay, mine is just a summary.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay, mine is just a summary for the direct quote.
Okay.
I'm just trying to give a summary for the direct quote in this regard, that when the local currency, for instance, that is required for the foreign currency, let's say if you are multiplying dollar for the required naira you need to buy a foreign goods, it signifies direct quote when you are multiplying with the required foreign currency. That is direct quote. So it's another way of identifying direct quote, multiplication, when you are multiplying.
That is why I've mentioned it, that you multiply. If it is a direct quote, you multiply. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any other person? Right. I don't understand before. Okay. That's fine. So, class, and it is what it is, right? Check the currency. Is Nigeria a local currency? The domestic currency, right? If Nigeria is involved, right? If Nigeria is involved, and you see the spot rates to be 125 to $1. The first question you should ask yourself is Nigerian currency, is it buying or selling? You know, if Nigerian currency is actually selling to is actually selling to the other, maybe overs, right? So you need to get what would be or buying from others, what would be the value in naira, right? What would be the value in naira? We will still look at more illustration to that, right? I just needed to establish that A direct quote is when if a Nigerian currency is actually involved and the spot rate of the Nigerian currency comes first, right? By the left hand side, you have 160 naira to $1. This 125 slash dollar, you will see more of it, right? So the interpretation is 125 naira equals to $1. That is what it means, right? That is what it means. So I have to coming. Think I get what Pemisiri is trying to explain. I'm coming. Think I get that. Okay. Pemisiri. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So I've actually removed that part. Okay. I get. I understand what you're trying to explain there. That's fine. So if this is established, right? If this is established, let's say we still have what is that? Who is that? Onye?
Okay, good morning, sir. Thank you. Please, I still want to get that gifted question because I think she's trying to make a point from that her question. She said she saw in a video where the lecturer said that if the currency is in $1, I don't know if I got her correctly, that is usually a direct quote. But you didn't answer it. Is it true or is there something we need to know? Because she said
I
if
don't know.
the function
Okay.
like the currency is usually $1, that is a direct quote. Is it true?
I don't know.
Like is that another way to put a direct quote?
This is I honestly I don't know. But this is what I know about direct quotes. And that is what I've actually explained. I don't know. Don't know why the person said if you have $1 is a direct quote. I don't know. But what I know is that when you have if that currency is a Nigerian currency, is a Nigerian what is it called, a company that want to actually what is it called, buy goods, right, from overs, and the spot rate as at then is 125 naira to $1, right? 125 naira to $1 or 160 naira to $1, right? So what it indicates is that, and if what you want to buy is $10,000, of course you cannot pay in naira. You want to buy something in US now, you cannot pay in naira. You have to convert it to dollar, right? And it is $10,000, right? $10,000. Now, if it is $10,000, you have to, and the spot rate is 160, and the spot rate is 160 to $1. Is that not so? So what you need to do is that for every $1, it will attract 160 naira, right? It will do what? It will attract 160 naira. Is that not so? So if you want to get what will be the total value, right? What will be the total value? It will be what? 160 naira for $1 times 10. We give you the total naira that you will have, which means that, oh, this is the total amount you will have at the end. Of course, now let's look at it. I've explained that the needs for foreign exchange. You want to buy something overs now. You cannot use naira. Is that not so? You can't use naira. You use what? You have to use what? Dollar. Is that not so? You have to do what? You have to use dollar. The question you should now ask yourself is that what is now the conversion as at today? What is the conversion as at today? Let's say you want to buy the goods that you want to buy is the goods that you want to buy is 10,000, right? $10,000. You know, you as a local as a Nigerian company, you will look at it. Okay, this is $10,000. Okay, this is $10,000. What is the conversion of this $10,000 in naira? Right? What is the conversion in naira? And it is 160 to $1, right? Which means that if it is $10,000, it will be 160 times 10,000. We'll still look at more illustration to this, but I'm just trying to explain. I don't know if they said, according to the video, when you have $1, it means it is direct. I don't know anything like that. This is what I actually know, right? Now, let's say, for instance, it is not a Nigerian company. Let's say it is not, no, Nigerian company is not actually involved in this transaction, right? Let's say euro, €1 to $1.2 is the spot rate. You can see that Nigerian currency is not. Okay, your question, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you, sir. I just want to ask him, how is it by the seller that you determine a domestic the domestic country, or by the seller? Like, who is it the country that is selling that is the domestic country, or the country that is buying?
Okay, that is a very good question, right? That is a very good question. If Nigeria is involved, I don't want to go there. I want us to, when we get to interest rate parity and all that, that is when I want to explain that part. But that it's fine. The domestic currency, if Nigeria is a domestic currency, if Nigeria is involved in that particular transaction, you will treat Nigerian currency, you will treat Nigeria as what? As a domestic currency, as a domestic. But if Nigeria is not involved, class, if Nigeria is not involved, so what will be your domestic currency? Then you need to look at from the spot rate, right? Which one of these spot rates is appreciating or depreciating? That is where you will now use to decide, right? We'll get to that part. I don't want to go there, right? You want to determine a domestic currency. When we get to interest rate parity, we'll talk more of domestic currency. So if Nigerian company is not involved, right, and you want to determine the ID, which is the domestic currency, right, what will you use? You have to look at it. Which of these currency is depreciating, right? Is depreciating. Is that not so? So the currency that is depreciating will becomes what? Will becomes the domestic currency. However, alternative what? Explanation to the direct quotes. I don't want to bring the issue of domestic here in identification of direct quote, because it may look confusing as we move ahead. I know what I'm saying. Another explanation to this, if you want to know a currency that is a domestic currency, right? A domestic currency is the currency that its currency is depreciating. Now, you could see that 160 to $1. You could see that 160 naira is higher than $1. Is that also 160 is what is higher than what one? That is how to determine domestic currency, though. You can see that we have 160 naira to $1. You can see that naira is depreciating. Naira is depreciating. Dollar is what? Appreciating. Do you get that? So I when we come to when we get to interest rate parity, we'll talk more of domestic currency and all that. But just understand that when you have a direct quote and Nigerian company is actually involved, you look at the spot rate, and the spot rate is 160 naira to $1. So what it means is that automatically what it means is that it's a direct quote. Is a direct quote, which means you have to multiply. But in another instance where Nigerian company is not there, is that not so? That is why exclusive, thank you, exclusive, right? You pay attention. Now, this is why exclusive now explain, based on my explanation, that you need to look at the company where they are situated. Is it a Nigerian company or not? Now, if it is not a Nigerian company, let's say a German company, for instance, so a company that is in US and a German company and to a company that is in US, that is why, please, see, I want to beg you, right? Any video you want to watch, just be very careful, right? Because it's confusing. I won't lie to you. It's confusing if you don't understand this thing. See, if you don't understand this direct quote and indirect quote, we can't solve anything under the what? Under international investment. That is just the truth. Please. Now, Euro, a German company and a US company. Now, a German company now, right, want to buy something outside. Of course, you will not buy in German. You will buy in dollar. Is that not so? Now, looking at the spot rate of one to you, where is the company you that you want to buy? Where is this? Where is it situated? Is in Germany, right? And it is €1 to what? And it is €1 to what? $1.2 as what? As the spot rate. Now, €1 comes first. Euro comes first. Automatically, that is a direct quote. The company again, the functional currency of that company is very important, right? It is what? It is very important. So whatever thing you are doing, so you have €1, it will be that you have to multiply that €1 times the dollar, or you have to multiply that €1 times what the dollar, so that you have the figure, right? I will look for more question on direct quote as well, right? But we need to understand these things. Class, am I communicating, please?
Yes, sir, you're communicating.
Okay. Gifted. Okay, go ahead and ask.
Please, I have a suggestion, because since our time is limited before the revision class, maybe we can just limit the question so that we'll not end up doing only direct quote today and Monday and tomorrow.
No, sure. No. It's just that part that we need to explain. It's just that part that we need to explain. Yeah, it's just that part, and interesting.
Okay, sir, can I ask my question now?
Please go ahead, please.
Okay, my question is this. Where the company is a Nigerian company, but has a branch in, for example, Germany, and they are to buy goods in US, how do you determine the direct quotes in that scenario?
Now, why do you want to determine the direct quote? Is because that is a very good example. A Nigerian company and you have a subsidiary. Is it the subsidiary that wants to buy or the Nigerian company?
Is the branch in Germany?
The branch in Germany wants to buy,
but the company is a Nigerian company.
The company is the company that is in Germany, right? Is the company that is in Germany. Then you have to check the spot rate, right? You already established that the company is a Germany company first. Establish where the country is, right? Is a German company, is that also? Then look at the spot rates. How does it arrange? Look at the spot rate. That is you just look at the spot rate. Now, is German spot rate, is it coming first or it comes last? Do you understand? So that is where you will now use to determine that, okay, it is a direct quote. Assuming the German, right, which is the subsidiary company, comes last, right, and the other one comes first, is opposite. We'll get there. That is an indirect quote. So you look at the spot rate. So which means that there are two things you need to watch, right? First, the company itself, your own company that you want to buy, your own company. Then you look at the spot rate as well. Because if your company is a German company, right, and you look at the spot rate, where is it placed in the spot rate? Is it that the German spot rate, is it first or second, right? Then if you see it first, that is a direct quote. Do you understand? And don't forget, for the purpose of translation, if you have a German company, and one of the US company, right? German company is a what? Is a parent company. Why the other company is in US subsidiary. Don't forget, when you want to consolidate, you have to convert it to the own currency of the what? Of the parent. Is that not so? You have to convert it to the own parent of the current of the what? Of the parent. So which means that you still need to look at the spot rate. Where is it placed? Is it that the parent spot rate, does it come first or last? So if it comes on the left hand side, you should know that, oh, this is a direct quote. What thing you are translating, you multiply. And don't forget, don't let me go there to under this thing. Let's just continue with this one first, I beg. With any other question, please? Please go ahead. Hello, unmute your mic, please. Okay. Indirect quotes, right? Indirect what? Indirect quotes. So indirect
So
quotes
6
is
minutes
always
remaining.
okay. 6 minutes. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I said 6 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes. Okay, when it is 3 minutes, we'll quit. Okay. Indirect quotes, right? Let's say we have $1 to 160, $1 to 160. Oh, sorry, come. $1 to 160, right? So $1 to 160, right? It is always a reciprocal of a direct quote. That is the opposite of it. Now, the first one is, now, we will want to establish this as an indirect quote, right? You want to buy goods, $10,000 from US. You want to buy. Now, you that you want to buy, what is the conversion? What is the conversion? Right? Now, don't forget, what is the conversion? The company, your company, let's say the company is a Nigerian company, right? The company is what? Is a Nigerian company. You want to buy goods worth $10,000 from outside. Now, when you want to buy this, what will be the spot rate as at then is $1 to 160 naira. So what it means is $1 is equals to 160, right? Now, you want to convert this, class. You want to convert it. Where is the spot rate? You can see the spot rate. Where is the spot rate? You can see that the spot rate of the Nigerian company that want to buy actually, right? You can see the where the company is situated is in Nigeria, for instance, right? Can you see the spot rate? Is at the right hand side, right? It's at the right hand side, and this is to tell you that you want to buy, your currency is on the left hand side. This is an indirect quote, right? For you to get the conversion, right? This is an indirect quote. Therefore, if you want to convert this, you have to look for the reciprocal. So therefore, the conversion will be $1 divided by 160 times, what do you have, times the $10,000. you have your figure in naira, right? $1. Don't forget, what is the company first? Oh, the company is a Nigerian company. I don't want to, I think I have to change. I don't want to use if the company is a Nigerian company. Maybe when we come back, right? And the spot rate is like this. And you want to buy goods worth $10,000. You want to know what will be the naira. You need the goods. We know the goods is $10,000, right? What will be the naira value? What is the naira value? And the spot rate that is given is like this, right? This shows that is an indirect quote. You need to do what? Reciprocal. $1 divided by 160 times this will give you the naira amount of it, right? $1 divided by 160 will give you the conversion times $10,000, right? Now, in another case scenario, if you that you want to buy or sell, you that want to buy is let's say a US company, right? A US company. Now the US company, we now look at it that, okay, since this is the spot rate is $1 to what? To 160, right? What will be the conversion? Look at it first. Which one comes first? Is dollar. So that means that is a direct cost. You have to multiply. The same thing when you are doing a translation. Look at what is the functional currency. What is the functional currency of the parent company? First, is it naira? Oh, it's naira. Fine. Then you convert the currency of the subsidiary company to the functional currency of the what? Of the parent company. Right? So if it is naira, you know that, oh, this is a direct quote. You have to divide. That is, you have to divide 1 naira divided by 160 times the figure. Right? You have the naira. Class, am I communicating? Hello? Hello? Hello, class? Interesting.
Sir?
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Okay. Don't worry. It's nothing sharp. It's nothing direct and indirect quote. It's nothing unknown. Once we solve more question on the international investment, just have the knowledge of, okay, direct costs, you have to multiply. First, you have to establish the company, right? For the part of domestic currency, leave that part of domestic currency. When we get to interest rate parity, we'll talk about it, right? Then the indirect quote is the opposite, right? Which means that you have to do what? You have to divide. Class, you have to do what? You have to divide, right? We'll get to that point as well, right? And that is why the spot rate now is $1 to 160, right? So you have to do 1 divided by 160, right? When you divide 160, you multiply it by the what? So that you can be able to get the value, right? So let's quickly move ahead. So okay, note where the domestic currency, is not, this is what's gifted. Are you there? Okay. Onye.
So I'm here.
Okay, that's fine. Where the domestic currency is not part of the two currencies as given. What is the domestic currency? Nigerian currency is domestic currency, which is naira. It's not part of the two currencies as given in the question. The currency with the direct quote should be treated as a domestic currency, right? Can you see it? So any currency you see from the spot rate, there is no domestic currency, which is Nigerian currency is not even part of it at all, right? If Nigerian currency is not part of it, right, what the is given in the question, the currency with direct quotes, the currency with direct quote, the currency you are multiplying with, right, should be treated as what? As a domestic what? As a domestic currency. Let's say, for instance, you have euro to dollar, right? Then the currency euro to dollar, right? Then euro comes first, and the company is a German company, right? Euro comes first. Now, as euro comes first like that, it is a direct quote, right, from the spot rates. Then, how will you now establish your domestic currency? So now your domestic currency will now be, since Nigerian currency is not there, so the domestic currency will now be the euro. Why? Because that is what the law says, that if Nigerian company currency is not actually there, what would be the what? What would be the domestic currency? Is what? Is the direct quote. And what is the direct quote we are talking about? Euro to dollar. Euro to dollar. The company is situated in Germany, and you have a spot rate of euro to dollar plus euro to dollar, right? So that euro is a domestic what? Is a domestic currency, and that is what it means. Now, we move further to bid offer, right? These are the definition of terms, right? These are just the definition of terms. Bid price is the price at which the bank is willing to buy the foreign currency. And don't forget, when you have a foreign currency now, you have $1 for instance, or $100 for instance, right? Bank, how much are they willing to buy that particular $100? Don't forget, even if the spot rate is, as at today, in the parallel market is 1,650 thereabout, and the bank is willing to buy, bank will not buy at 1,650 from you. You should just know that. We all know this, right? They may buy at 1,400, and even if you go to all these bureau de change as well, they can't buy it at 1,650. Is that not so? So that is bid price. Then the offer price, the price at which the bank is willing to sell the foreign currency. Now, guess what? As we all know, banks are doing business, right? If they want to sell a foreign currency, if they want to sell a currency to, let's say, $100, right? Then what is the conversion in naira? They will not sell it. They may not sell it at 1,650. Class, they may not sell it at that 1,650 because they want to make more profit. And don't forget, this business, they know how to do it. They want to what? Make what? More profit. They may end up selling it at probably 1,700, right? So that they will have more profit. They will choose, or let's say the spot rate range from 1,500 to 1,650. Now, do you think bank will choose 1,500? No, bank will end up choosing what? 1,650, because they want to sell to you, because they want to do what? They want to make more money from there, right? Then the spread as well. So our focus here, okay. So forward exchange, right? Forward exchange, even if we will not go deep into forward exchange, right? Forward exchange rates. The most important here is for you to understand direct and indirect quotes. Establish that first. This is very important. Now, the forward discount or premium, if you want to determine the forward rate, right? Forward rate is often quoted as discount or premium to the spot exchange rate. Now, let's say the exchange rate as of today is 1,650. Then what will be the forward rate? The forward rate could be 1,000. Let's say as of today, for the purpose of this class, as of today is 1,400. Then the forward rate could be 1,600. That is premium. That is premium because the forward rate is higher than the spot rate. That is premium. That is the forward exchange rate is a premium where the spot rate as of today is 1,400. Then the forward exchange, the future rate is now 1,650. You can see 1,400, 1,000. So it is as premium. The forward exchange rate is a premium. Do you know what? I have to explain this. Why? Because we will do something under international investments, right? Then we may not need this part, but I need to explain the meaning of all this. So that is premium, right? Then when it is at discount, you will see that when you calculate the forward exchange rate, you will see that for forward exchange rate, you will see that the exchange rate will be lower. Forward will be lower than the spot rate. Let's say the exchange rate today is, for instance, is 1,400. Then the forward exchange rate is 1,200. Okay, you could say, okay, the forward rate is at discount. It's at what? At discount, right? And that is it. So we move further to talk about appreciation or depreciation of currency, right? Appreciation and depreciation of currency. This part is also very, very important. This part is also what? This part is very, very important, right? I'm coming. Oh. Or should I put it here, or when we get to interest rates, or should I put it? Should I add it here? Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me just leave it. When we get to, should I add it here? Okay. Okay, let's move ahead, please. Sorry. I wanted to add something to the appreciation, so I'm thinking if I should add it to the interest rate parity, then appreciation percentage, depreciation percentage. Where should I put it? Okay, let's just move ahead, right? Let's move ahead. Okay, Olawale. Olawale. Okay. Okay. Now, please understand this part again, right? Currency appreciation.
Is it my own Olawale?
No, not you. Thank you. So, currency appreciation. Currency appreciation means when the unit of domestic currency to buy one unit of foreign currency decrease. And I've equally demonstrated that. I think Gifted, is it Gifted that someone asked that question, that when it is domestic currency. See, I don't want us to, please don't confuse yourself with domestic currency or non-domestic currency. Just understand that when you are given a spot rate, right? a currency that its spot rate, right? Its spot rate decreases, right? It decreases. While comparing with what? With the foreign currency is what you could say that that particular currency is what is appreciating, right? You could say that that particular currency is what is appreciating, right? Because you have a spot rate of one naira, 160 naira to $1. 160. Is naira appreciating? No, because 160 is higher than $1. You can see $1 is lower. Is that not so? The currency that is lower is appreciating, right? Now, someone equally asks again, what is domestic currency? Class. If Nigerian currency is not involved, right? If Nigerian currency is not involved, so what will be the domestic currency? We'll get there when we get to interest rate parity. But understand that currency appreciation means when what you will use to exchange to the foreign currency, when what you will use to exchange, right, it actually decrease compare with the foreign currency. You are a domestic currency and the spot rate is 160 naira to $1. $1. Look at it, the difference, 160 and $1. So 160 is higher. 160 is what we call currency depreciation. 160 is higher than $1. That is currency what? Depreciation. Right? Appreciation means that your own currency, let's say domestic currency, is decreasing. Right? Okay, let's say you have 0.1 naira, 0.1 naira to $1. 0.1 naira to $1. 0.1. So you could say, oh, your currency is appreciating. 0.1 naira to $1. Right? You could say what? Your currency is what? Is appreciating. Why the other is what? Is depreciating. Right? Class, am I communicating? Now, how do we determine the percentage of depreciation? There is a formula for calculating a percentage of depreciation and the percentage of appreciation. Class, please listen, pay attention to this explanation. It will help you a lot in translation. It also helps when we get to international investment. It will be very easy for both of us, right? So that we can move. Now, in every question in international investment, that the spot rate will be given to you and the project is for 5 years. What is the conversion? The spot rate will be given. So how will you determine the conversion rate for that 5 years? So which means that you need to get the forward rate. We'll get there. You need to get the forward rate. And now when you get the forward rate or the forward rate is given, right? The next question could be that is the forward rate, is it depreciating or appreciating? Right? Or the spot rate given to you, right? The spot rate, you calculate the spot rate, probably you calculate is the currency appreciating, you check, is it appreciating or depreciating, right? If the currency is appreciating, which means that the forward exchange rate will also appreciate by a certain percentage. If it is depreciating, it means that your forward exchange rate will also depreciate by a certain percentage. We'll get there. But pick it that appreciation, when your currency is decreasing, right? You could say that you, as the person that want to buy, or a German company versus a US company. German company, look at the spot rate. Which one is higher? Right? Which one is what? Which one is higher? So anyone that is higher, it means that that particular currency is what? Is depreciating, right? Now, leave this formula. Just ignore this formula. I'll give, when we get to that part, I'll give the formula for calculating the appreciation of currency and depreciation of currency. Class, are we still together? I know it's boring, right?
Yes, sir. No.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm using one. So as I'm treating international foreign exchange to international, right? The two. Now, foreign exchange markets, we have different guys in the markets. I will just skip this part, right? You can read this. Arbitrators, right? Edgers, right? We have different guys in the market. They protect against the fluctuation. Edgers, right? We have some guys that are speculators. Arbitrators, they take advantages of the market, right? They buy when the arbitrators, who are arbitrators? These are guys that they buy when the what is it called? When the price is when the exchange rate is lower, right? They go to the market, they buy more, right? You could call these guys, the other guys, we know them. You can call them an arbitrators, right? We buy it when the price is low, the dollar is low, right? We buy it, keep it when it appreciates more. When the dollar increases, not appreciate, when the dollar increases, they quickly what? They dispose it off, right? They dispose it off. So, foreign exchange exposure risk. Foreign exchange risk concern the risk of adverse movement in exchange over a given credit period. Foreign exchange risks faces importers who pay foreign currency, exports who involve in foreign currency. Of course, when either you are exporter or importer, you will definitely face with this risk, right? You will definitely face with what? You will be faced with what? The foreign exchange risk, right? It is highly probable that you may engage in foreign exchange loss or gain. But if you have guys that are edgers, because there are some guys that are specialized, they are edgers, right? What they do is to edge, is to protect the investment. They will look at when you are to buy, they will look at when you are to sell, right? They will look at when you are to buy on credit and when you are to sell on credit. Foreign exchange risk can be classified into three, right? Translation risk, and this will take us to the parent versus subsidiary translation. That is, what are the risks involved in translation in foreign exchange? The question could be that, explain the risk involved in foreign exchange. What are the risks? The translation risk, economic risk, and the transaction risk. Okay. I'm actually treating directly or indirectly, I'm treating two topics together, foreign and international, but that's fine. Translation risk is the risk of translation from the subsidiary company to the functional currency of the parent. In the process of that, they may engage in foreign exchange loss. Foreign exchange loss or gain. They can equally make exchange loss or gain. It depends. They have gain there. They have, maybe they carry the sales. Maybe the sales is 50,000 naira. Then when they want to convert, maybe it's $50,000 or $10,000. So when they want to convert to naira, because our currency is actually depreciating, because let me don't use that. Let's say our currency let's say it's depreciating. Fine, we all know that, right? So it's depreciating, right? So it could affect that. It could do what? It could affect the translation, right? So another thing is economic risk. The effect, this refers to the effect of exchange rate movement on the international competitive of the companies. Economic risk, right? Look at what is happening globally today, right? Look at the how international or multinational companies are actually declaring are having loss in exchange loss as a result of what is happening globally, right? With that, it could affect the foreign exchange, right? Now, the transaction risk, then we have transaction risk, right? We have transaction risk. The risk involved in trading, right? The risk involved in trading, whether you buy or you are selling. Let's say, for instance, January 1, a Nigerian company sell goods to a US class. A Nigerian company sell goods to US for $100, right? 100 what? $100. The exchange rate is 150. The exchange rate is what? Is 150 to $1. And it is a Nigerian company. Is that not so? Now, when you want to convert this to Naira, it is a direct quote. Do you know why? Because the company that is selling is a Nigerian company. And the spot rate of the Nigerian company comes first. You have 150 Naira to $1. And then you have $1 to 150 Naira. You could have said, you will now do it like a reciprocal, right? One divided by 150 times $100. That is indirect quote, right? Now, can you see the illustration? Therefore, the Nigerian company expects to receive. Now, the Nigerian company will now be like, we will receive this. Expected. It could be on credit. Oh, we are expecting that this person will pay us 15 million. Yes, we are expecting it, right? But when something now came up as a result of some adjustments in our economy, then when this person want to pay, the buyer want to pay, the buyer now targets when when the buyer now will now target when it is 140. You as a Nigerian company, transaction risk, you are expecting 15, as you've already said, initial recognition 15. Then when the person now paid, when the person want to pay, you now target when the exchange rate is 140 to $1. Class, you now targeted when the 140 to what? $1. So now, this is why we now have the US buyer is allowed 3-month credit. Interesting. You can see that is why there are some guys that are edgers, right? So the US buyer is allowed 3 months credit. So when they want to pay 3 months later, then the Nigerian company receive $100 from US. So the buyer now pay, right? Now the exchange rate as at then, right? As at that time is now 140 to $1. So Nigerian company will now receive 14 million. Now, what is the foreign exchange loss? Is the initial recognition of 15 million minus the actual what you receive of 14. The difference is 15. So it means that the Nigerian company is losing about 1 million That is transaction risk. Right? That is exchange loss. Class, am I communicating? So you can see the risk. So when you see some company that declare exchange loss or exchange gain, right? It is not, sometimes it's not actually their fault, right? It is based on the market. It could be that they sell goods on credit. It could be that they buy goods on credit. It could be that, so many factors may come. So do we now understand the direct quotes? Are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
Hello, class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if this is established, we move ahead to causes of exchange rates, which is our focus here. Our focus here is interest rate parity and purchasing power parity, because there is no how we will talk about, we will mention international investments without having an understanding of direct quotes, indirect quotes, forward, direct quote, indirect quote, exchange risk, causes of exchange what? Exchange rates, right? Or exchange risk. The interest rate parity is very important. Then the purchasing power parity. And there is no how we will move to international investment without understanding that, without having an understanding of the currency that is appreciating and the currency that is depreciating, because we will need it. We will need it when we want to determine the future exchange what? The future exchange rates, right? So in summary, before we continue, in summary is that international investment, you have to, the project is for 5 years. You are given the spot rate of as of today. So how will you determine the forward rate? So when you want to determine the forward rate, you need to consider the interest, the changes in interest, as well as the inflation. So you determine the forward rate. Now, another question is that in your spot rate, is your spot rate, is it what is it called? Is it depreciating or appreciating? What is the, if it is depreciating, what is depreciation? What is the depreciation percentage? If it is appreciating, what is the appreciation? What is the appreciation percentage? So we need to know all this. So you want to determine the foreign exchange rate, the rate of conversion for the future. You need to consider the interest, either in the interest or the inflation. Then before that, you need to determine is the current spot rate. Is the current spot rate, is it appreciating or depreciating? So, if it is depreciating, it means that the forward exchange rate will also depreciate. We'll get there. Right? Now, the causes of exchange rate fluctuation, the forces of demand, the interest rates, you can read this, right? The interest rate, the public debt, and all that. Government measure to stabilize exchange rates. You can read this as well, right? Okay. This is our focus, right? Concepts that explain the exchange rate relationship, right? The concept that explain the exchange rate relationship, the purchasing power parity, the interest rate parity, the Fisher effect expectations theory. But our focus is just two. Fisher effect. We treated Fisher effect under the cost of what? Under the capital budget, right? So Fisher effect, the inflation and all that, expectation theory, we don't need it. Our focus is not even useful to us. Our focus is purchasing power parity. Purchasing power, is it parity or party? I think it's parity. P-A-R-T-Y. It's P-A-R-T. Sorry, not party. It's parity. It's parity. Sorry about that. I think it's should be parity, not party. Parity. Or exclusive. Do you have party today?
My party now for church party. Almost
Oh
time.
yeah, now it's almost time.
Yes, 12.
It's fine. It's fine. So purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity states that the spot exchange rate, can you see? The spot exchange rate should be adjusted for inflation between the two countries, which means that for you to determine the forward rate, you need to adjust for inflation. The purchasing power parity is talking about inflation, adjusting your spot rate, the exchange rate, right? So to inflation, like you're adjusting it for inflation. Now the theory suggests changes in exchange rates over time must reflect change in inflation between two countries. Class, I've explained that you want to invest in US and the project is for 5 years. You want to know if it is viable or not. Then you want to know the naira. What will be the naira value? Now, the spot rate, you are given only one spot rate, right? Right. Now, for you to get the forward exchange rate, right? The spot rate needs to have needs to be adjusted either for inflation. The first one is purchasing power parity interest rate. Okay, either for inflation or interest rate must reflect the inflation of the two countries. So which means that for you to know which one of these you are to use, it will be stated in the question. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that you have a spot rate of 1 naira, 160 to $1, right? 160 to $1, right? Then the question is, you need to adjust your spot rate to have the effect, because the project is for 5 years. You need to determine the forward rate. Then when you want to determine the forward rate, your forward rate need to be adjusted to inflation of the two countries, inflation or the interest. So to calculate the forward rate using the purchasing power parity, right? Using the purchasing what? The purchase power parity is 1 plus I FR. I'm coming. This should be slash forward rate. I plus IF, which is the inflation rate. IF is the inflation rate of the foreign country. ID is the domestic country, the inflation of the domestic country. Now, the person that asks question that how do we know a domestic country when Nigerian company is not there, right? In the spot rate, we'll get there. We are there now already, right? the domestic current, the domestic country, then I the inflation of the domestic what country, then IF is the foreign what inflation, right? Now there is always a problem here, right? The problem is what is the purpose of this purchasing power parity? Is for you to determine the forward rate. And this forward rate will include, this is purchasing power or purchase power, right? We include the inflation of the two countries. We involve what? Inflation of the what? Of the two countries. Forward rate. That is the purpose. Using the purchase power parity, you need to adjust for inflation. Now, if in a question you want to determine the foreign country and the domestic country, right? The spot rate given to you is, let's say there's Nigerian country is there, right? Let's say you have 160 to $1. So the 160, Nigeria is a domestic what? Country, right? There is a domestic country, right? Because Nigeria is involved. Then the other person is what? The other country is the foreign. Now, in a situation whereby you have €1 to $1.2. €1 to $1.2. Come, let me illustrate that. €1. Okay, let's say where is this sign here? €1. I can't find the sign. Let's have to check box. Subject. Okay. This will waste our time. Okay, symbols. We check these symbols. Okay. Let's say we have €1 to $1 or to 1.2. Now, in this case now, this is the spot rate. Nigerian currency is not here, right? Class, Nigerian currency is not there. Now, which one of these will be the domestic what? Will be the domestic currency. Now, the domestic currency will be, that is why, note down, where the domestic currency naira in this case is not part of the two currencies given in the question. The currency with the direct code should be treated as what? As a domestic what? Currency. Now, which means that if the country that is buying is situated in Germany, right? Is in Germany, and the spot rate is, for instance, for the purpose is €1 to what? To $1. To 1.2, right? Right? For the purpose of this discussion, you could say that, okay, the country, the German is a what? Is a domestic what? Currency. Is a domestic currency, but it will not come like this. I'm trying to look at another part, right? Another explanation. But just know that when naira is not involved, right? Domestic currency, which is naira, is not even involved. For which of these two will you choose as your what? As your domestic currency? It is what? The direct quote. So the question is, what is the direct quote? The direct quote means that what is the company? Oh, the company that is buying that the functional currency, right? Probably is a German. You look at the spot rate, euro come first. So you could say, okay, euro. Euro is what? The domestic what? Currency. Class, am I communicating, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Lastly, before we, okay. Okay, let's move on. So the purpose of this is to determine the forward rates. And this forward rates that must will include the forward rate will include the forward rate will include what? Both what is it called? Both they will adjust for both inflation of the two companies, right? Now let's quickly look at an illustration to this part before we move ahead, right? Example. Example. Spot rates. If the spot rates
So your spot.
okay. Thank you. Euro 3.39%. US is 1.76 percent. This is annual risk free rates. Okay, I'm coming, let me look for, this is inflation, right? I'm coming, let me look for question on inflation. Annual risk free. This is 1118. Okay, okay. This is what we do. I think I don't have that question here, and we need to I need to explain that part so that I will still explain I can explain the interest rate authority as well. So I think we can continue from this part tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is Saturday. Uh, tomorrow is Saturday.